Criminal defense attorneys Jack Rice and Eric Faddis. All right, you two, are you surprised that the Supreme Court found that prosecutors were allowed to introduce really too much evidence, that the Supreme Court said it was evidence about extramarital sexual relationships, it was cumulative, it was prejudicial, and therefore should have been excluded under the rules of evidence? If I could start with you, Eric.
Yeah, Ashley, it's troubling, but not necessarily surprising. I've seen so many cases where the prosecution wants to get in, every bad fact they can think of about a particular defendant. And maybe a defendant is accused of doing something absolutely heinous, but you can't piggyback on, other issues with that defendant that are irrelevant or unrelated to the case just because they make him look like a bad guy. Because a jury is more inclined to convict someone they think of as a bad guy. And that is really sort of the heart of where the error was in this trial and why it was reversed.
And Jack, one of the things that happened is there were really two different types of counts or charges against this defendant. There was the one for the death in the vehicle of his 22-month-old beautiful child, Cooper, and then it was also crimes against children, sexual in nature, and the judge decided that could all be tried together, and therefore all of the evidence was heard. Did that muddy the waters? Do you think that's part of the reason the Georgia Supreme Court might have said, too much, he shouldn't have heard that for the murder count?
Absolutely, no question about it. If we think about it from the first place and look at all of the charges that came out, they should have severed them. And what I mean by sever is sever the question of the death of his child on the one side versus the child pornography or the underage issues on the other. The problem that we have in cases like this, and I have seen this in cases of my own for 20 years, is that once a criminal, always a criminal. Once a child molester, always a child molester. Once a bad person, this is what they do. The problem is what a jury should see here is they should see the evidence that establishes that they committed this crime. The problem is you show all these terrible things in the past or elsewhere, a jury can fixate on those things and say, I hate this person so much that I don't even care what you show me on this other part, because this other stuff, which may be irrelevant to the charge, is enough for me to convict. And that's what we should be afraid of.